Public sector organizations require very unique capabilities from the CRM perspective. So, which are the top 10 public sector CRMs in 2024? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. Let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta, principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation firm. We help our clients with the ERP CRM selection, digital transformation strategy, implementation, as well as change management. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be top 10 public sector CRMs in 2020. In general, as far as the scope of this list goes, we consider the public sector organizations of all sizes with many different business models. For example, let's say if you look at municipalities, cities, or any of the federal agencies, the kind of capabilities that they are going to require, this is slightly more generalized list for all of those public sector organizations. In general, the kind of capabilities that these organizations are going to require is, for example, let's say citizen experience management. Now, this is a fairly unique capability that might be harder to implement on the generalized CRMs if you're trying to implement that. There are many different needs like this. For example, let's say the majority of the public sector organizations are going to have a lot more assets in general, and they're going to have a lot of different customer personas and the journeys they need to accommodate. And if they're looking for, let's say, the customer 360 combining all of these different channels, that's when they are going to be needing a CRM. In general, for this particular list, we are looking at all of different touch points, whether they are going to be in the pre-sales process, post-sales process, customer service, call center-centric workflows. All of those are included. In terms of the channel type, email, text, etc., whether you are looking at website, all of those channels are considered as part of the scope for this particular list. Now, the criteria that we generally use to compile these lists is, number one, the product share. Acquisition strategy focused on public sector. So if a CRM vendor is going to be focused really on the public sector space, and if they are acquiring a lot of capabilities that is going to augment their capabilities from the public sector perspective, then that particular solution or the vendor is going to rank much higher on this list. Then you have several other factors, such as your product roadmap, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology, strategy, investors. So these are some of the variables that we consider to compile this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Pipedrive CRM. And Pipedrive CRM in general is a very small CRM designed for very small public sector organizations. So when you look at these smaller CRMs, and for the most part, Pipedrive CRM would fall under that generalized category. They are going to have a lot more generalized CRM capabilities. They are not going to have the unique capabilities that the public sector institutes are going to require. So you would require substantial consulting help to be able to enable those workflows on top of Pipedrive CRM. But then the advantage that you are going to have with any of these generalized CRM is that you can accommodate many different business models, whether you are looking at any of the healthcare, education-centric, not-for-profit centric business models, and all of these are probably going to be part of the public sector bucket. You are going to have a lot of customer personas from the construction, real estate perspective. And organizations are also trying to manage these buildings, and then you are going to have the citizen experience management, and that's going to be a little B2C workflow that you are probably going to require. So all of these capabilities require very generalized model that you can use to enable all of these workflows. Some of the other strengths that you have from the Pipedrive CRM perspective is they are going to have some capabilities from the workflow automation perspective. They might not be as detailed. Overall, what you're going to find in slightly more enterprise grade systems, but this could be great for very smaller companies that might not have as high implementation budget. The look and feel for Pipedrive is similar to HubSpot. So if you have a lot of users that are switching from HubSpot or they have used HubSpot in their past life. If that is the case, then the transition curve might not be as steep for those users. So that could be a huge plus for Pipedrive CRM. And the report customization as well as goal setting, etc. Some of these features are going to be easier in general with Pipedrive CRM. Some of the limitations to keep in mind are going to be the data structure, which is on a weaker side for complex public sector companies. And then you are going to have limited capabilities for data import and export. And generally, with these smaller systems, these are the limitations that you're going to run into, and the customizability is going to be challenging as well. So these are some of the limitations to keep in mind, and that's number 10. Number 9 on our list is Pegasystems. And Pegasystems would fall under that technical category where you are going to have a lot more customizability to enable very unique workflows. And Pegasystems is a very enterprise grade low code, no code system. So you can build very complex workflows that are probably going to be required for these public sector organizations, especially if they are going to be large. But at the same time, since the tailored capabilities are not built out of the box, because of that, you are going to require far more mature IT organization to be able to build these capabilities, or you need to hire consultants who can help you. So your, in general, the implementation costs are going to be higher. You are increasing your project risk as well. But having said that, Pegasystems is going to have much more customizability in general. Some of the other strengths that you might want to consider, for example, let's say if you're really heavy on the call center workflows, and these are going to be, let's say if you have a lot of different workflows from the agent perspective that you need to enable when your citizens are going to call. Let's say if you want your agents to be able to see their information, to be able to validate their information, to be able to build all of those workflows that you can enable your agents. If you have very busy call center, for that, Pegasystems is a great system. Some of the other limitations to keep in mind is that it's probably going to be extremely complex in general to be able to implement, to be able to use. So it's not meant to be an easy system in general. And Pegasystems is not adopted as the mainstream CRM as some of the other systems that we have on this list. So that's number 9. Number 8 on our list is Sugar CRM, and Sugar CRM is slightly smaller system compared to some of the other systems that we have on this list. And this is going to be relevant for public sector companies, especially the smaller one, if they are looking for slightly more customizable workflows compared to, for example, let's say if you compare this with Pipedrive CRM. Pipedrive CRM is probably going to have slightly more restrictive model to be able to customize these workflows. Sugar CRM is going to be slightly more customizable, but it's not going to be as customizable as your Pegasystems or some of the other larger systems that you have on this list. Some of the other strengths to keep in mind with Sugar CRM perspective is some of the modules might be slightly harder to customize. Even they have customizability, but that's not going to be relevant for everything. And sometimes if you're looking for answers on these questions, whether Sugar CRM is going to fit for your workflows, and that's where you need to hire consultants who can do the gap analysis, vet your workflows, because even for consultants, this is going to be really hard to be able to forecast, okay, where you are going to run into issues. And if you have those issues, we have seen cases where customers have failed their implementations. So that's why it is really important to get some expert help to be able to vet, okay, which CRMs are going to work for your use cases, the kind of use cases that you for. And then Sugar CRM also has the integrated project management module. And in general, the public sector organizations are going to require very heavy project management functionality that is going to overlap with your CRM workflows. You are going to have project management from the operational side as well. But then even during your pre-sales process, as well as the sales and marketing processes, in that also you are going to have scope for project management, and you require that overlap. So that's going to be a huge plus for your Sugar CRM. Now, the limitations that you're looking at from the Sugar CRM perspective is the customizability. So even though it is more customizable than the smaller CRM such as your Pipedrive, but customizability is not going to be as much as some of the other enterprise systems that we have on this list. Then other limitations, for example, let's say if you look at the citizen experience portals, in general, they might not be as easy to implement than some of the other systems that we have on this list. And marketing automation is going to be a challenge as well. So that's number 8. Number 7 on our list is HubSpot CRM. And HubSpot CRM is probably going to be relevant for the public sector organizations that are going to be really heavy on that upstream marketing or the CMS centric workflows. That's where the strength of HubSpot is. That is going to be in the whole recruitment workflow. When I say recruitment, these are going to be the customer recruitment, meaning you are trying to prospect your customers. So anything that happens in your that pre-sales process, that's where the HubSpot CRM is going to be really strong. Some of the other strengths to keep in mind for HubSpot CRM is that integration for some of those call center workflows are going to be prevalent in the HubSpot ecosystem. So you're not going to run into challenges there. And then the technology is fairly superior as well. So you are going to have all of those flows of your enterprise search, mobility, etc. That's going to be much easier. In general, you are not going to have as much steep learning curve because of the legacy technology with some of the other systems that we have on this list. So the technology is very modern. The UX is very modern as well. Some limitations to keep in mind is that their custom objects are going to be fairly limited. So if you are looking for all of these custom workflows, they might be much harder to be able to implement. And sometimes HubSpot might not even be a fit if your workflows are going to be very complex, just because the kind of layers that they have as part of their custom object, they don't have as detailed layers. Their core objects are fairly limiting as well. In general, to be able to mold them, it's not as easy. So these are some of the limitations that you need to keep in mind. And that's number 7. Number 6 on our list is SAP C4 HANA. And SAP C4 HANA is going to be great for companies that are going to be on SAP S4 HANA system. In general, the strength of SAP C4 HANA is going to be on the operational workflows. If you have very complex regulated workflows that you need to enable as part of your, the customer layer, the CPQ layer, etc., that's where your SAP C4 HANA is going to be a great fit. Some other strengths to keep in mind from the SAP C4 HANA perspective is if you have a lot of different offerings that is going to require all of those approvals as well as the regulated releases. For those, your SAP C4 HANA could be a great fit. Some limitations to keep in mind is going to be marketing automation. Marketing automation workflows are not going to be as easy to implement. In general, you would probably require an add-on that you need to use. So the experience might not be as immersive as you're going to find with some of the other systems. And then you are dealing with a lot of third-party vendors as well for these use cases. And any of the marketing centric vendors, they are not going to be as integrated as you are going to find with systems such as your HubSpot. So these are some of the limitations to keep in mind, and that's number 6. Number 5 on our list is Oracle CX Cloud, and this is going to be very similar system as your SAP C4 HANA. The biggest difference with Oracle CX Cloud is that they have one of the enterprise grade marketing automation product that is included as part of the suite. So they are going to have far richer capabilities in those upstream marketing areas, along with the operational capabilities that you are going to find with SAP C4 HANA. And that's probably the reason why Oracle CX Cloud is far more proven with the public sector organizations. In general, the public sector organizations are also going to require a lot of field service centric workflows because they have the field crew that is interacting with many different assets. So for those, you would require interaction, and Oracle CX Cloud is going to be able to support all of that. You might run into challenges with these workflows, with these smaller systems. For example, let's say you look at Sugar CRM or Pipedrive CRM. They don't have as complex capabilities from the field service perspective, from the call center perspective. So these are the capabilities that you are going to get with your Oracle CX Cloud. And if you care for the integration with the other components, if you are going to be on Oracle for your ERP, ACM, etc., and if you are looking for that immersive experience across these processes, then Oracle is going to be able to provide all of those capabilities as part of the other components that is included as part of their suite. So these are some of the strengths. The limitations to keep in mind would be the integrations as well as ecosystem from the upstream marketing perspective. When you look at integrations with your data vendors, etc., they might not be as rich as what you are going to find with the systems such as your HubSpot. It will require substantial consulting help, change management. The learning curve is going to be fairly steep as well. So these are some of the limitations, and that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Creatio. And Creatio is a very technical category in general. So all of these workflows that are going to be built as part of the many CRMs that we have on our list, you have to build those, and that generally increases your consulting implementation cost in general. The strengths that you have from the Creatio perspective is any of the complex workflows. For example, let's say if you have the citizen relationship management workflows, these are going to be very unique. Sometimes they could be very hard in general, with slightly more prescriptive workflows that you are going to find with the mainstream CRM systems. And if you're looking for flexibility in those workflows that are going to change every time, or your workflows might be very different from other public sector organizations, these are the things that you can easily configure inside Create Your System. You can tailor them as you like, but again, that is going to drive the consulting cost just because they are not built. They are exposing slightly more technical model, which is going to be far more moldable than your business centric model, and that's where you are going to get a lot more flexibility. But at the same time, you are probably going to increase the cost, of your implementation. And then you are going to have some of the other complex workflows. For example, let's say if you are looking for workflows with your assets and buildings, and these get very, very, very hard, even with the enterprise grade systems. For example, let's say with Oracle or SAP, those workflows are going to be much easier to be able to implement with Creatio because of the flexibility of that technical model. You can implement whatever you like. It's going to be very similar to your programming language that they are trying to expose. So you are not going to have as many limitations as you are going to find some of the other packaged CRM solutions. And then the limitations that you need to keep in mind from the Creatio perspective is the UI might not be as modern, and it's not as well adopted as some of the other CRMs. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is Zoho CRM. And Zoho CRM is going to be a great fit for the smaller public sector organizations. Zoho CRM in general is very customizable as well compared to your system such as your HubSpot, which is going to be very limited with their custom objects, etc. Zoho CRM is not going to have that limitation. Zoho CRM also has many different apps as bundled as part of their package, and their pricing is simpler as well. So you can utilize all of those with one pricing, and you can implement even things such as your custom apps that are going to be required for most of the public sector organizations. So that's a huge plus for Zoho CRM. Some limitations to keep in mind are going to be the data model as well as the database that you have for each of those apps. Even though those apps are provided by the same vendor, they are going to have very similar user experience across those apps, but they all have the databases that are independent. So you can do the communication between those apps, but that is not part of the same data model. And because of that, you are not going to get as embedded, as immersive experience that you would have with other systems that are going to have slightly more embedded data model across these categories of apps. And then they don't have any sort of communication across those data centers as well. So if you're looking for that global footprint or global, for example, let's say if you're present in multiple countries, and if you're looking for, let's say, the customer 360 across those global workloads, that's where you are going to run into limitations. Zoho CRM might not be the best fit for those use cases, and their CMS as well as the website experience is not going to be as rich as systems such as your HubSpot. So these are some of the limitations, and that's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 apps, and this is the old Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer engagement system. So from the Microsoft Dynamics 365 perspective, this is going to be great for companies that are looking for very highly customizable platform, enterprise grade platform that can be molded as you like. And that's why Microsoft Dynamics 365 has been proven with many large public sector organizations. They have far bigger install base in general. They are also going to have capabilities such as project operations from the ERP operations perspective. That is integrated through your common data model. So that's a huge plus for companies that are looking for seamlessness in their operational as well as the CX centric workflow. Some other strengths to keep in mind is that they have a lot of options that are already pre-built, pre-baked, that are provided as part of their ecosystem. For example, let's say for the not-for-profit workflows, you are going to find options such as your mission CRM. That's going to be a huge plus. Let's say if you don't want to invest as much in the consulting budget, but at the same time, when you acquire any of these add-ons, you still have to assess how your architecture is going to work, whether you are going to customize the mission CRM or you are going to customize the core platform. Because once you install the add-on might not be able to communicate with the other apps because they are trying to hijack the process, and then you have to live inside that bucket. So these are some of the challenges that you need to keep in mind. And if you hired experts who can do the gap analysis for you, the architecture design, then you will know which systems are going to be right fit for you. In general, the integration and ecosystem, the options that you're going to find inside Microsoft is fairly prevalent. So these are some of the strengths. Some limitations to keep in mind would be the marketing automation CMS capabilities that you are going to find with systems such as your HubSpot. They are going to be slightly limited. And then in general, this is going to have much higher steep learning curve, as well as the consulting help is going to be expensive as well. So these are some of the limitations, and that's number 2. Number 1 on our list is Salesforce. And Salesforce is a very similar system as your Microsoft. They have been proven with very large workloads in the public sector space. They have community-centric experience that is going to be predominant need for the public sector companies, and they can enable all of that at much larger scale than most systems might struggle. So some of the other strengths to keep in mind from the Salesforce perspective is the system is highly customizable. You can mold as you like, but obviously because of that, it's going to be much more expensive to be able to do that. And some limitations to keep in mind would be that the whole marketing automation product is not as embedded, even though it is provided as part of the Salesforce portfolio, but the integration is more on a lighter side, and the embeddedness that you're going to have from the website integration perspective is not going to be as immersive as embedded. So those are some of the limitations, and that's number 1. If you enjoyed this video, we are going to include the link for a detailed article that is going to have much deeper insights, so you might want to check that. This podcast is also available in the audio form on major podcasting platform, on Apple, Spotify, etc. So you might want to check there and subscribe. We publish these videos on a weekly basis. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you might want to do that. And finally, if you have not checked our digital transformation report for 2024, we are going to link that as well. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.